Here's the door after all of our modifications have been completed here. And so we got our mirror, we got our windows in, we got our door handle, and we get over here, open up the door, and this is the metal panel that I'm most likely going to use, but I did make it so that the other panels will fit on there. What we had to do with this metal one was when we made our template, all of the holes lined up, but they were just, the end of the panel here was just too far past the edge. So we had to pump everything over this way. So it was kind of sad that we had to redo all that work. In the future, I guess I wouldn't drill any of those holes once I got the panel on and fitted properly. Here it is with the other panel installed on there. The only problem with this one is that the window crank isn't lined up perfectly, but other than that, everything else looks pretty good. Here it is with the full panel installed. The only problem, the same with the last one, is that window crank doesn't line up center of the hole there. So I guess I made this so that it would fit the metal panels. Those are the ones I prefer, those are the ones I choose to use. If I was to switch over to either one of these other panels where the window mechanism isn't fitting properly, I guess I'd have to get in behind there and drill another hole or 3 holes so that you could kind of tweak that so that would fall into place there. Panels removed. This is what we are with our 2 panels here on the interior. That window mechanism, if I could somehow make it so this would swing down more center of this hole, so I could have one primary hole that remains stationary, and then I could have these 3 that are adjustable so that you could turn it clockwise to get that into position. Everything else seems to work pretty good. We tweaked all them holes to line up our metal panel. Our door handle works. It goes in through there. This pocket here, this is handy. So you can get down in here and we can see, and then our linkage will hook up to our mechanism here for the door handle over here. So the door handle operates well. There's doesn't seem to be an issue there. The window operator is working well. It works nice and tight. There's no issues with the window. We'll open, so the way this works is that we open up this panel first. We'll take our 2 bolts out for our door handle, and then we will open up this panel first. We'll remove this panel, and this is where the track is right here for the arm for the window regulator. So once we get that panel loose, we pull it away and then we move it this way out of the track. Once we got the door handle bolts out of there, and this opening here is really nice for being able to disconnect stuff from our actuator here. So we could disconnect our linkage, and we take the 2 bolts out, and then you can just pull that right out of there. Next, we removed all the bolts here that are holding the panel in. There's 8 of them, 2 on the top, 2 on the bottom, 2 on either side. So then you could just pull this out of these pockets here. So you're just going to pull that out, and then you're going to slide it this, you're going to slide it this way to get the track out of the arm there. And here's that track. And then the same thing when you want to install it, you line up that track with that arm, and then get that started, and then you slide it in, and then you bolt it on. After the fact on this panel here, I ended up going with the same design, went with the flush mount, whereas before I just had it bolted on, and I thought, yeah, it was interfering with my metal panel, so I did the same thing here. I located this, and then I have it like the flush mount, so when the panel fits on, it fits on flat. So that was a little bit of a difference that I did on that panel. The window works fine, operating it up and down, it works fine. And then down here, these 2 bolts here, so I had to cut this space out of here, out of both of the panels. So when you're installing this window, you have to remove that stopper there. That's for the power windows. So there's 2 bolts here, and then there's one on the bottom here, and you remove that out of the way, and then you can take this window and you can drop it all the way down to the bottom, and then when you line it up into the tracks, into this track on this side, and then the track for this right here, and then get your arms started in here, and then that's how you're going to install that window. Works pretty good. Once you've got the window installed and you've got your regulator bolted up, then you can go and put this back on, install this again. And I'm going to maintain the manual operator for the windows, but I got that in there, so in the future, if you wanted to switch it over, basically all you'd have to do is cut a window in here for the electronic switch. The operator will be the same, it just won't have this sticking out into the panel. It'll just be an electric operator. That's the same thing. We've taken those bolts out, and now we can remove this stopper here that goes in there. And also too, I think that'd add some rigidity to the door as well. After we've removed that other panel on this side here, this is where you need to manipulate this window regulator to get the arms inside the tracks down below here. So it's this is the point where you're installing the window into the regulator, or uninstalling it in our case here. This is where you see the window inside the track on that side, and then again over here on this side. And so then what you do is you just let this go all the way down and then rest itself on the bottom of the door. Once it's on the bottom of the door here, now you can move it out of the track on either side. So now you can move this out of the track, and then you can pull the window out through the top here. Before you move that window out, you can take this bolt out. This is after the fact, so I had to install this to find out where I was going to put this ear with the welded nut, so that we could bolt the bottom part of this tri-window leg with the runner in it. So you can take that bolt out of the back, and that's part of the tri-window here. So there's a bolt down here to remove, and then up here then there's this screw, and you take those 2 out, and now you can remove the tri-window. And with the tri-window out of the way, it's going to be way easier to get that window out. So you see now with the tri-window gone, you've got lots of room to remove that window. You get that out of there, no problem. With that window out, now we got lots of open space here. This track is removable here. I made that removable. There's a fastener right here, and then there's 2 fasteners down here. These 2 fasteners, and then up top through here there's that fastener. You remove all those, and then this track can come out as well if ever you needed to remove that for whatever reason. And then now for our door, this window here comes in really handy to get at this bolt. Otherwise it's going to be way more difficult to get in behind here. You can remove this and it would be easier, but the old ones weren't removable, and it would be a real pain to try and get at that bolt in behind there. So again, this is removable if you needed to remove it. If not, you can get at it here for that bolt there. And then you've got your other 2 fasteners for this handle, one in the bottom, one there. And then lastly is to you're going to have to make your linkage to connect to the actuator down here, and that's obviously going to be custom to make that fit and work to operate your door latch here. So the purpose behind all of this was I wanted to open this all up so I can get inside there to fix anything I need to fix or get at anything. I also want to make the door stronger because the other doors, the way they are, they're really, like especially in here, they're really flimsy and they're cracking all over the place, right? So we've still got cracking issues here, and in around here there's usually cracking issues as well. So what I did was I cut this piece out of another door, and then you can maybe see that I put that in behind there. So I got 2 layers, and you can see how thin the metal ends up being. Lots of cracking issues. It's weak, it's fatigued. Here's another crack there. So the metal is thin and it cracks and it's weak, and I think it makes a bunch of noise. I'm hoping this is gonna make it solid and clean everything up, make it easier to work on. Big improvement, I hope.